Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Stock Market Update. If you like the content, please like and subscribe and share with your friends and family so everybody can make money. Hope you all had great weekend and we are starting with a bang, okay? All right, so starting with SPY. All right, as I said last week, I said we're finding support here. There are like four different support levels. There's this downwards trending trend line, and there's this upwards moving trend line. Okay, there's support here, support here. Look what happened today. All right, we closed right on this support. Okay, look at this support here, support, 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 and look what happened today. We gapped up, and then we also filled the gap here. If you go to 1 hour chart, we had a gap up, and then towards the end of the day, we filled the gap, and we closed right on it. It depends on how you draw the trend line. Okay, I think we closed right above it. If I go to 1 hour chart, you can make a slight adjustment to this trend line. Okay, you can go like this. You can see how it is. It's right on there, right? So let's go back to daily. You can see it closed right on that trend line. All right. So where do we go from here? There are two paths, like I showed you. There's this yellow path where we can go straight to 4300, okay, which is 430. SPY 430 is my target. There are two gaps here. 427.3 and 421.38. I expect both gaps to fill. And the second path is this green trend line. Okay, so I think we're going to go up. Obviously, we're not going to go straight. We can have some dumps, and then eventually we'll go there up. And then you can see actually one interesting thing. If I go to 1 hour chart, okay, on SPY, you can see there are a lot of gaps here. Okay, there's a gap here around 408. There is a gap around 406.5. Okay, and again we had a gap from yesterday, okay, around 400, which we filled today. All right, not yesterday, I mean last week, last Friday. Okay, so if now I go back to daily, all right, you can see what's happening. I think this top gap, which is around 408, and this downward sloping trend line, they're going to meet at the same time. Okay, so if this week, if we fill these gaps, that will be a good time to take profits and then wait for the next reaction. Okay, March is usually bearish seasonality wise, so I won't be surprised if we get this dump. Okay, and then there is this trend line here, and then there is a lot of support here around 308. This is whole support zone here. I do not expect price to go beyond that. Okay, so there will be a lot of support here. So worst case, if we go here around 385-ish, 380-ish, we should find support. You can draw this trend line depending on when we receive. We can even like slightly undercut it to scare everybody, and we can bounce. All right, so don't be worried. All right, at the end, regardless of how we go, we are reaching 4300. Okay, so be mindful of that. I think for 6 months will be very bullish, so I'm planning to take all my profits out as soon as we hit 430. Till that time, I'll be looking to buy all the dips and holding my longs. All right. Okay, now how do you spot this reversal? If I go to 1 hour, this is US 500 is futures chart. Okay, I've been telling you guys, I've been teaching you guys as well throughout these videos. Okay, you can see if you go to 1 hour chart, you can see PPO. All right, PPO had a momentum, higher momentum. You can see RSI. Actually, here, let's quickly hide these and see if we can find a better chart. Let's quickly get rid of these DI, ADI lines. I don't think we need them. It's a bit confusing. Okay, oops. Get rid of this. So you can see, do we see anything here? Not really, not on US 500. RSI did not show any divergence, but PPO showed. But actually, if I go to NASDAQ 100, US 100, let's see if it shows any divergence, like equal, very slight divergence. If you look, if you really want to see, you can see like right from here, there's like very slight to flat divergence. Okay, but then PPO is showing divergence. Okay, so let's go back to US 100. So we can see momentum is going higher as price is going lower. So we can draw a trend line like that. Okay, you can draw a trend line like that from here to here. All right, and let's get rid of this. Okay, again, draw a trend line from here to here. Okay, and then you can see we had a breakout today. All right, we had a breakout around 8 in the morning. I don't know what happened. We had a big candle around 8 o'clock. Until that time we were just chopping around, and now at the end of the day we back tested it, and now we are going higher. All right. And yeah, I think so far everything is looking good. And again, let me show you my famous chart on thinkorswim. Okay, look at this daily chart. So we are now on this yellow line. Okay, yellow line is like a neutral line, no benefit to bulls or bears. My upper target is around 4300, okay, 4303, and my bottom target is around 3663. So long term this year, this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting it to hit 4300 around June, July, then dump October around again to 3680, and then go up again. Okay, so the remaining year we're just gonna flip flop. Okay, so long term, go here, sell, go here, buy, again go up. All right, so that's all what's going to happen for a couple of years. All right, so this chart is very useful. Again, I have this another chart which is very good for day trading. Okay, you can see you can buy on bottom red line, and you can sell on top red line. Okay, so you can see it this way. If we sold here, if we shorted here, we might have to wait for a bit, but eventually we dump below it. Okay, and then we can buy around bottom red line. If you bought here around bottom red line, now it's going up. Okay, and yeah, we can talk about these charts later in the future. This is Nasdaq. uh, Nasdaq, you buy bottom purple, you sell top purple. Okay, now we're in the middle, so it's neutral. So if you reach 12,700, 1280, 800, it's good time to sell. All right. Okay, now going back here, let's cover VIX. VIX had a very bad day. If you go to 1 hour chart, there's still a gap here. There's still massive gap here around 20. Okay, so I expect that gap to fill. So I think we're gonna next couple of days we'll fill that gap. We might bounce a bit. So I think March we could have a slight bounce, but it should not break this previous high. Then eventually we'll dump. Okay, so there could be some volatility in March, but that if you get dip, that's gonna be dip to buy. All right. Triple Qs, Nasdaq, same thing, same concept as SPY. One thing to note, we have a gap. Today we gapped up and we never filled this gap on triple Qs. We did fill the gap on SPY, but triple Qs we could not fill. There is gap around 292. So tomorrow, worst case, if we open on a gap down, if you are here around 292, you should buy that. Okay. If we don't gap down, if we keep going higher, then I think that gap will be filled at a later date. Maybe when we go down in March, if that happens, this is the first path. If we go dip, we will fill all these gaps. I don't think we're going to go that low, but there's a lot of support here. If we go that low, that's when SPY comes to around 380s. Okay, so triple Qs could go in March around 270s. Okay, so that will be a good dip to buy. The other option is we just straight going ripping higher. If you go to 1 hour charts, their first gap we filled today. First gap was around 296, which we created on Friday, and we filled it. There are two other gaps. Okay, from here to upper gaps, we have, let's see, from today we have around 3% upside. Okay, so that could happen this week. All right, and then there is this downward sloping trend line, so we could follow this green path. Green path is what I'm thinking might happen, but yellow path is also good. So eventually, if you can hold for long term, a couple of weeks to a couple of months, I think you should not be worried. All right. US30, we have basically we still broke down of the wedge. Now we are going higher. All right. So let's see. We might want to go. Let's see if there is a bounce on SPY, it could go back into the wedge, but there's still quite a few percentage away. Let's see quickly. Yeah, it's more than 3%. So let's see how it goes. It doesn't look like it's making a flag yet, but we will see how it goes. Okay. US 2000, which is IWM, Russell 2000. You can see there is this downward trend line. We kind of broke out, back tested. Now we're going higher. There's this huge resistance around 1903. Okay, you can see resistance, and we broke out, and now we're back testing it. Okay, so we'll see how Russell 2000 behaves. It did close. Let's quickly see. It did close green today. Okay, so I think it's going up compared to SPY. It's going to follow SPY. I think that's what's going to happen. Okay, now moving along, let's cover individual stocks later. Let's quickly look into commodities. Okay, oil had a bad day today. Still, it recovered quite nicely towards the end. Okay, again, it's between support and resistance. Okay, support around 72, resistance around 82. All right. So first, oil did really good last year. You can see it did really good last year. I don't think this year it's going to do that well. You should look into growth stocks. Okay, first 6 months will be very bullish. Look into growth stocks like ARKK, any other like PayPal and whatnot. So whatever stocks that dumped hardest last year, you should look to buy those. Okay, natural gas, amazing recovery from my time when I told you guys to buy. It's up more than 31%. Okay, this is daily chart. You can see this is downward sloping trend line. All right, so if we go and make it extend it like here, okay, so you can see we moved higher. Okay, I think we could back test. We haven't back tested it. Okay, so usually we back test it. So if we go back down to back test in March, buy that. Okay, that will be amazing time to buy it. Okay, so you might get another opportunity on the back test to buy natural gas. You can buy UNG. Okay, you can buy UNG if you are US nationals. You can buy UNG ETF. You can trade in USD, or you can buy HUN if you're Canadian. All right, buy HUN, which is following natural gas. All right, Bitcoin. Uh, I don't like a lot about Bitcoin, so it's kind of 0.23. It recovered a bit, but it was down heavily at one point today. Look, there is this support coming up to 50 SMA, and there's also a support on this flat 200 SMA line. All right, so I think between here and somewhere here around 20K, Bitcoin will find support. Again, if it's gonna behave like SPY, so you should be mindful of what could happen. Okay, if it behaves like SPY, it's quite possible here from here we could go touch these highs. All right, and then we can dump in March. Okay, and then go higher. All right, so be mindful of that as well. Okay, so that could easily happen. Ethereum and all other cryptos will do same. Dollar was down a bit today. Okay, so again, if SPY goes higher, dollar can sell. Okay, so it's possible that last Friday was the top. We could dump a bit, and then when March sell-off begins, dollar can go high. Okay, my target for dollar is around 109 here. All right. Gold and silver. Gold is actually gold. It reached around 1805, 1806 area today, and it's bouncing. So I am still not that convinced. I think there is major support a little bit below here. Okay, so we are almost there. I think we could have another small dip, and that will be a good opportunity to buy gold. Okay, so you can buy gold miners, GDX, GDXJ. Silver is going to do same thing as gold. So again, one thing. Let's see if there's divergence on PPO and RSI. Silver. You can see we are going lower. Okay, you can see 1 hourly we are going lower, and RSI has divergence. Okay, so silver started developing some divergence, so which is a good sign, which is early sign of reversal. All right, you can see here even on PPO it started showing now. Right, PPO is also showing divergence. So how do you trade this? You can draw a trend line. Okay, you can draw a trend line like that. All right, something like that. And then you can wait for this breakout. Okay, until we have that breakout, there's no buy signal. All right, gold. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Gold is doing the same thing. We are going lower. Divergence on RSI and PPO. So you can again here also you can draw a trend line. All right. Let's see. You can draw a trend line like this, or you can even take this 200 SMA blue line, which is also looking like a trend line on hourly chart, and you can wait for a breakout to get a buy signal. All right. Gold miners GDX ETF had a good day today, 0.78. One thing to note on 1 hourly, look at how many gaps we have. All right. I think this gap that's filled. You can see gap here, gap here, gap here. So eventually all these will be filled, and look at the upside we have. Okay, so even if you buy today, there is like 15% upside. All right. And also you can see it started developing the divergence, price going lower. You can see PPO is showing clearly divergence on PPO, and RSI just started showing it now. All right, so it's just waiting for a breakout signal. No buy signal yet, just waiting for a breakout. Okay, bonds, which is ZB. Let's go to daily chart. You can see bonds were up today more than 1%, but I think eventually they will pump with SPY, and then they're going to dump in March, and then they're going to go again up higher. All right, so bonds short term, I'm expecting some strength in bonds. All right, and let's go to treasuries. Where did treasuries go? TNX. You can see TNX. One thing to note, if I go to 1 hour chart on TNX, price going higher, RSI and PPO going lower. Okay, so that means momentum is going lower. So wait for this trend line. You can take 50 SMA as a trend line. So if it breaks, we're going to dump harder. There are gaps here. There's a massive gap here on TNX. You can see there's a gap here, okay, around 3.53. It could go as low as that, and then you can fill that gap. If SPY breaks, which it will, then eventually this will be filled. All right, you can buy PFIX to trade on treasuries. That's the ETF which mimics treasury. Okay, and what else is there? Let's quickly go on some other sectors. XLE, energy sector. Okay, you can see we broke down. We are doing a back test. We could go down. There's another gap here, massive gap here, 73. So I will not invest heavily in energy sector. There are two gaps. This one is 76, one around 73. So I'll wait for these gaps to fill, and then I will buy energy. Utilities, if I go to daily chart, I think it's coming down to support 64. You can see support here. We broke down, it bounced, and now it's coming back to support here. Healthcare is going down like anything. Again, it's coming back to massive support area here. Okay, this is support, and now it's coming back to 124, 125 area. Okay, so that will be good area to buy. Let's quickly look at Tesla, up 5.46%. Okay, so March 1st is Investor Day, which is day after tomorrow. So I'm still holding Tesla. Okay, I will just tell you what I'm planning to do, and you can do whatever you like. So we gapped up today. Okay, there's a gap here around, if I go here, this gap here around 197-ish. Okay, this gap will fill. Okay, now I don't know when it will fill because I'm not a, I don't know, I can only deal with probabilities, but this is what I'm thinking. I think tomorrow will pump higher. All right, tomorrow we pump higher, and then it's possible we could touch this 200 SMA. This 200 SMA is around 221. Okay, let's see how far away are we from there. So we are now less than, okay, around 7% away. Okay, so from here to 200 SMA, I think that will be a good area to take profit. So tomorrow look for taking profits around this area, and then once Investor Day is done, I think it's going to be a sell the news event. We could dump. All right, there's a lot of support here around 178. Okay, so I think that will be a good area to buy again, and eventually I think it's going to fill all these gaps. All right, there's a big gap here around 263. It could go to new highs. All right, so I'm just looking for a short term take profit, and then I will buy again if that happens. Okay, oh well, also again this could go straight up. Okay, who knows, this could go straight up, but I think I'm heavily invested in here, so it's going to be a good time to take profits on Tesla. Okay, let's quickly look at Apple. Apple had a really nice day. 1 hour chart, if I go, you can see we gapped up. We did not fill this gap, so there's a gap down, and also there are so many gaps ups. Okay, so you can see there's a gap here around 152, 153. A lot of gaps in all these tech stocks. Okay, so I think these gaps will be filled first. Look at Amazon, so many gaps. I think these gaps will be filled first in this week before we dump lower. Okay, in March. You can look at Google. You can see how many gaps. There's one gap here, one massive gap up. Meta, which is Facebook, not a lot of gaps on Meta. Netflix, let's quickly look. Netflix have a gap here. Okay, Microsoft is a gap city, a lot of gaps, so eventually all these gaps will be filled. Snowflakes, there's an earnings coming up, so I don't know how it's going to be. It's pumping 4%. Earnings is Wednesday. Nvidia had a massive gap, a lot of shorts, a lot of people are trying to short. Let's see what's happening. There is one thing to note, there's divergence on RSI. Okay, price going higher, RSI going lower, PPO is going lower. So that's a worry sign. Uh, let's see here. We made an equal high here, and then RSI is low, PPO is low. So that's not a good sign, daily sign. So we got to be careful. If we get a dump in March, it's possible we fill this gap. Okay. Okay, guys, I think that's about it. If you need anything else, or if you have any particular stocks you want me to review, just put a comment there. And have a good day.